My name is Godsman. I'm a front-end engineer. I would say software engineer, but I've kind of decided to focus a lot on front-end side of things. And I work for Telesofters as a JavaScript engineer, and I basically get to work with anything JavaScript. React, Svelte, Node.js, a bit of it, and that's pretty much what I do here. I live in Kaunas, yeah. Beautiful city, small city, but I think it's away from the whole noise in bigger cities.
My name is Kennedy, Ibe Kennedy. I don't know why I keep doing that. I'm a Java developer here in Telesofters. Live here in Kaunas too. Work in Telesofters for 2 years. Recently, I've been programming. I first picked up programming about 10, 11 years ago as a hobby, something to keep me busy while during the breaks while I was in school, my first year in school, but never really took it seriously. I never really thought it was going to be a career path for me until my final year, 2015, 2016, and then I actually spent some time developing my skills my own way, and here we are. So the first time we really actually met each other was in Lagos, I believe. Yeah, it was in Lagos. We were both already processing for our visas to Lithuania. That was the first time we really met. But I saw him on the program in Abuja, and we never really talked until we moved to Lithuania. I think the first time we really had a conversation was probably
on the flight.
On the flight.
He sat next to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course, I remember Kennedy from Abuja. He was always Kennedy has to ask a question. I definitely remember some guy who would ask a question we never knew any other person prior to the Digital Explorers. The events that happened in Abuja in May 2019, and we're not even on the same hackathon team, but then he tends to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So you would kind of notice him.
For me, my journey to Telesofters kind of started after I finished my youth service. I thought I was going to travel. That's what I wanted to do. I was going to take a break from life, travel around Nigeria because that's what I could afford at the time. Maybe give myself some new experiences. But then a friend of a friend of a friend told me about this program, this Digital Explorer program. Told me, just sign up, it should be fun. That was the initial kick, it should be fun. The first time I was in Abuja and I saw Nereus, he's the current CTO in Telesofters, because he was in Abuja. His class, because he had some classes, there were some lectures, his class was really interesting and I thought, I would like to work with this person. So it's amazing that after the program, Telesofters took notes and offered me a chance to join them.
I would say my journey to Telesofters started out of, I would say, love or care. Yeah, and funny enough, I got myself in this company that cares a lot about people.
Sweet.
And stuff. Yeah, it was my friend, we were very close friends. He got a job in Berlin and I sent him the link. I saw a job that he totally would fit in. And then I said, hey, I sent him the link. Boom, he applied, he got the job. And then he's in Berlin thinking about me and then sees this and writes me and says, hey, check this out, and sends me the link. And then I read about the program, learn about Lithuania, and then I saw a list of companies, and in my application I specifically stated, because there was a part that said, what company would you really like to work for? I specifically wrote Telesofters there. I don't know, I went to their website, looked at what they do, and I was just intrigued with that. And yeah, I specifically liked the company. Before the event in Abuja, where I got to meet Nereus, I got to meet Gediminas, I got to meet Algidas. And then we get to Abuja, I meet Algidas. He was like a mentor for my hackathon group, and we're like, who is this guy? We did not even know he was the CEO of Telesoftwares until he gives us his card, and we're like, oh my God, he's the CEO of this company. And then I talked with Gediminas, and it was really nice, and that was where everything, kind of kicked off. And I, did a couple of tasks and interviews, and I found myself here. So my onboarding, I would like to say it was kind of a soft landing, because it was coming into this new company, new region, different way of doing things, very different way of doing things. And it's kind of helped or prepare me for most of the projects I work with now. So I would say absolutely it was very necessary. It's helped me understand the team style, what is expected, what you should do, what you should not do, but in a less pressured project or environment. There's no pressure, it's onboarding. It's take out the next month, next 2 months, and get to just write code. We'll tell you what's good, we'll tell you what's not good, we'll teach you our style, and then you'll be fine. And just like that, that's exactly how it happened. It was good, it was not a project, because it was a bit shocking to me at first how much attention was paid to code quality. I mean, I come from a very fast-paced environment where things need to be done yesterday. Like the business comes and says, we need this feature yesterday. So you have to finish it very fast. And less it works that's the deal, let it just work. But here it works wasn't just enough. The fact that something works was not enough, but how long can it work? Can somebody understand what you wrote? Is it clean enough? Is it scalable? Is it neat? Like so many other things I had to consider or put into consideration while writing code. And I think what I really like in Telesoftwares is, I don't know how they created the environment or what spices they used, but it just has this chill environment in the midst of a project that is going live next month. It's a lot. We ran through the roadmap last week with the product owners, and it's a lot, but everyone is working so hard and it's chill. The pressure is not like, hey, there's not much pressure, but the thing is, people still deliver. So it's really nice to have this kind of thing going on and you're still comfortable.
And to promoting a chill environment, taking away the pressure of the stress of or the fear, it's a big boost for a developer. It's a big boost for me. I'll speak for myself here. Taking away that stress, the pressure to deliver is a big boost. And I find out that you do your best work when you're relaxed while you work. When you know you can take a 30-minute break. Poof, it's the little things, right? But they kind of amount to a lot. Would I call it a challenge for me? I think it was early this year, 2021, was the first time I had a burnout and acknowledged I had a burnout. Previously, when it happens, and you sleep it off and come back working, But this year, I realized I needed to take a step back. And it was helpful talking about it with my STL, who helped me put a finger to, this was the problem. You're not just tired, there was more to it. And that was different, realizing that he cared about you as a person beyond your talent, beyond your work. Wow, it was a little overwhelming, to tell the truth. It was a little overwhelming. And I didn't realize there was more to it than just, this is a new thing. But my SEL, talking to my SEL, helping me put a name to the problem, was really good. And here we are I love saying here we are, so you will have to cut out a few of those.
Here we are.
A few months down the road, it's September now, and taking the break I needed was.
Employee happiness is key. If you can keep everyone happy and comfortable, that's very important. And also growth is really important, because at every point in time, my soft team lead is asking, hey, you like your project? Do you feel comfortable there? If you don't like it, we could talk. And at the moment, I feel like, yes, I'm in a team where I can grow. I'm in a team with 5 other front-end engineers, and it's a lot of knowledge sharing that goes on in that space. The social life in Telesofters is absolutely magnificent. Yeah, I'm just going to say it like that, because I'm going to merge social life and activities, and I think I might be able to make you remember some things when I list out all the activities.
Sure.
That you could count as social events also. So I like activities, outdoor activities, and I wasn't even really the party guy. But then I come here and there is Christmas party, there is summer party. This year I literally had to fly from Norway back to Lithuania for 1 weekend to attend the summer party, and then the next week back to Spain. I mean, that's how chill we are here. So it was really nice. I would not want to miss it. So yeah, a lot of these activities kind of make walking fun. Then we had the ping pong tournament. I thought I could play ping pong. I thought I could play ping pong. I was like a champion back in my home country. And then I get here and I see Dangiras, I see Gilvinas, I see a lot of guys, and I get knocked out in the first round. We get knocked out in the first round.
At least you got points.
Yeah, I got 1 point.
Good for you.
I won just 1 match and that was it. But I'm looking forward to the next ping pong tournament.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Yeah. For me, there is vocation, which my team is
I'm so jealous.
My team is very religious about this vocation. It has to happen every year.
Yeah.
So last year we went to Ignalina. This year I do not know where we went, but we went somewhere out of town.
And you took dogs.
Yeah, yeah, we had a dog on the vacation. And it's nice that you come to work on Fridays, you see pets, see dogs around. It's really chill.
The first time we went skiing.
Yeah,
was
Druskininke. Yeah.
So to be fair now, looking back, I realized I owe a lot of my social life to Telesofters, because it kind of introduced me to things that I actually picked my interest, and things that kind of keep me busy now. You wouldn't know it, but Telesofters is really an international company in the sense that they kind of account for or take into account everyone while doing and planning things, vacations, even team company memos. You know, it's the small things. Yeah, but I was kind of expecting integrating to be harder in my head, but it was a lot more easier because the people, my colleagues, HR, they kind of were ready to have me, and so yeah, that's the favorite thing for me working here. Yeah.
Wow, that was a lovely video. Just talking about a couple of people who are sort of the first two Nigerians that are working at Telesofters. And that was off the back of a program called Digital Explorers, and I'm sure you probably heard it a couple of times on the video. So it's a program that was EU funded, where we were expected to take up to 50 ICT specialists, talents from Nigeria to Lithuania, place them on jobs for a year, and then bring them back and reintegrate them back into Nigerian tech ecosystem. And from that program, those two, Godsman we're both members of the first sort of set of people that worked at Telesofters at that time. And I think that their performance sort of led to Telesofters deciding to open an office in Nigeria. So now we're going to just have a really interesting conversation for the next 20 plus minutes about the nuances and what are some of the lessons that we've learned recruiting Nigerians for international organizations and how it's been and how that has worked so far. I would be joined today by an incredible lady, Jane Odowondo. Jane is people manager at Telesofters Nigeria. But beyond Telesofters Nigeria, Jane is an incredible HR. Jane, I think, I've worked with Jane like in multiple sort of scenarios before now. Jane worked with me in Digital Explorer's early days, recruiting people. Then Jane back then was the HR at my previous employment with Ventures Platform. And now Jane is working with me again in Telesofters recruiting. Jane has a wealth of experience recruiting for international organizations, for sporting talents, and also sort of even for finding out what people's intrinsic motivations are beyond just a paycheck. So Jane, it would be really, really an honor to have you with us today. Maybe you want to say a word or two about yourself, and then we could go into the conversation.
Thank you, Memshak. You're always so generous in your introductions. Right. So yes, I have been around for a while, doing stuff around talent management, sourcing, selection, recruitment, everything that revolves around talent. And in the past 3 years, I've taken special interest in sourcing, recruiting, and managing tech talents. Pointing cases with the Digital Explorers program, it was eye-opening and interesting, and it's great to see that a lot of good things have spawned out of it. Yeah. And then, yes, I'm also helping out with a match project and the talents that companies will be looking out to recruit for. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jane. And I just want to put it out there that as we having this conversation, if you have any questions, please endeavor to put the questions in the chat or in the questions box, and we would address it as we go. So Jane, one of the first things that I want us to really explore is talking about expectations. And the reason I feel like this is the bane of or the key to success or the major drawback in any human interaction or relationship, right? Once you have an expectation misalignment or mismatch, then you have a problem. So let's talk about expectations, right? In engaging so far, what have you perceived to be like the expectations sort of within the international organizations, and sort of also what the expectations are within the Nigerian talent, and where you feel there might be a misalignment, or where you also see really straight core alignment in terms of expectations?
There's a vast difference. There's a vast difference. So first off, employers in Nigeria would want to look for talents who have a broad stack of technologies. Because they're looking to spin off a lot of things. They're also putting their eye on the budgets. And so it'll be more valuable to have one person who has almost every skill, technology that they're looking to use to solve their problems. Whereas for EU and US companies, they are focused on specialties. They're focused on deep dive. So they're looking for talents who are well-grounded in a particular technology. And so it's always a shock when talents come to interview with that impression that, hey, the fact that I have a lot of technologies, the familiar lots of technologies should give you an edge. And then the employers are saying, oh, okay, where are you?
Where
where exactly do you start? What's your strongest suit? So that always comes up at interviews. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah. Please go on.
Yeah, I also wanted to note that there's also a difference with process as well. So Nigerian employers, we want talents to come in quickly We want this process, closed out quickly so that we can get the job done. Whereas EU and US companies are looking for a process that is granular, takes a little longer. They want to be sure we're getting the right people. The process gets where the talent gets to the end of the funnel, then it is what they are looking for. Yeah, so it's a slower process with US and EU employers.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane, for bringing those two things up. One, in terms of the technology stack expectation, and I know we've seen this over and over again, and I invest quite some time in even educating within telesofters, educating my TTLs, our technical team leads, on what to expect before we go into an interview process, so they know that while you want to have people who have like deep depths of understanding or wealth of experience in one technology, what you will see more of are people who have a much broader stack. I think more people in the Nigerian ecosystem are aiming to become a full stack dev, and they're headed more towards that direction than even just being in one area. And it's also interesting that you also mentioned about the fact that time for recruitment, and why I feel like this is also critical, is that when for this advice organizations that would launch recruits, like, you would have to learn how to make decisions a little bit faster on a talent. So one of the key things that we learned is the talent who is applying for your job, your role, is applying for maybe 7 others at the same time. And so the person is constantly weighing which of these opportunities works best for me, but also who's responding first. And so if your process is 2 months and some other person's process is 1 month, chances are you would lose that talent for that one person who is able to make a decision much faster. So for me, it's being able to balance between I want quality, yes, I want to be able to have a duplicatable process, but also by the time I want to make an offer to person, I want the person to still be available to take the offer at the end of the day, right? So I think that's sort of a place where we have a mismatch between both of them. Jane, let's talk about common mistakes, right? And this is sort of also around expectation setting, right? What are like common mistakes that employers have when they're thinking about employing from Nigeria? But also let's talk about, on the talent side of things, what are common mistakes that people have when they're coming into interviews with foreign employers?
Okay, it's easy to say for on the side of employers. One is with years of experience. So in Nigeria here, a candidate is considered as a senior if, yes, like I mentioned before, you have a broad stack versus you have a lot of years. But for foreign employers, years count. So you have a lot of years, you must be experienced, and then there is that disappointment when the candidate comes to the interview and then they find out that this year's is broken into bits, and does not necessarily translate into there being a senior in that technology that they have applied for. There is also another mistake that foreign employers make. So in reviewing a resume, and you know that a candidate has spent, say, 10 years in one organization, they immediately think that, oh, this is good, but no. So what I always advise is, if a talent has moved around a lot of projects, experienced new technologies, has a broad variety of experience, that's what counts more than a talent staying in one organization for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that these are some of the key things that people just need to take note of. One of that key common mistake I've also seen is education. So a foreigner picks a CV, and they're looking at, where did he study, what university, what course did he study, is it related in any way to tech? And I remember one of our early conversations, if you remember, with telesofters recruiters, they were asking, so what university should we be looking out for in the CVs? And I'm like, none. There isn't any university in Nigeria.
Or what course of study?
Or what course of
computer
study?
Science.
Exactly, right. And none of it helps here. A lot of the people, and if you join the previous sort of conversation, a lot of the people are self-taught, self-learned, and so most of the things they've learned has been on the job. Another key thing that would also be interesting to note is Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians are very, like one of the ladies in the previous panel said, quite aggressive when they want something, right? We'll be watching some pitches very soon. And one of the key things that stood out in one of those pitches for me, Jane, was when one of the panelists said that I'm the kind of guy that knows nothing about something on Friday, but knows everything about it on Sunday, right? And it's literally what it takes, right? But one of the key things also that I think I want people to have in mind is the market or the CV or her CV boldly full stack developer, right? And it wasn't really bad at that time, particularly because all the market demanded was people who could build a website. Exactly, right? So, but as our ecosystem evolved, and that's why one of the key things on the last panel, one of the ladies said was a lot of developers in Nigeria are in fintech. Why? Because look, our unicorns are fintech. Fintech is raising money. Fintech is hiring a lot of devs. But the point is, the more developed the market gets, the more developed the talent. But inevitably, so what this means is you might be requiring someone who can do something particular, and you might not be able to find them. Doesn't mean that the people that you are interviewing are not smart. And because they're quite aggressive about what they want, they would come in, they would learn it, and they would deliver on it, right? Because we are used to working in a very, very fast-paced environment. And I think with this, I want us to talk a bit about culture. What are cultural differences and nuances between Nigeria and foreign organizations, and how does this culture sort of affect in terms of talent recruitment and talent retention?
You know, so the video with Kennedy, I mean, it just says a lot around culture. But first off, there is I'd like to say that first off, we're all humans. So if a candidate comes off as not being sincere in an interview, I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, we perceive it, whether you're a foreigner or you're a Nigerian. If a candidate is aggressive, it's easy to see all of that. So the basic human behaviors is, more or less the same. But when it comes to work, you need to look at areas around feedback. So in Nigeria, we're used to feedback coming upfront. Don't lace it, don't be diplomatic, just say, hey, you're not doing good. This is what the problem is, you've got to fix it. But what I've noticed with foreign employers at onboarding is they tend to be really careful, because they don't want to come off as being, what's the word, Mimshak?
Hostile.
What's the word? Yeah, hostile. We don't want to give up the wrong vibe. We don't want them to feel they're any different from us. And then now downplays the importance of speaking up and saying things as they are. And then for us Nigerians, because we're used to having things up front, where we don't hear those things, where we don't get the feedback as hot as it is, that we tend to think we're doing okay. And then there is, that miscommunication, that misalignment, and the employer is not happy, and the employee is happy.
It's excited.
Until it gets so bad.
Exactly.
Until it gets so bad. Yeah, so that's one thing that has, in terms of culture, that I see has stood out. One more thing is, so here now in Nigeria, because employers are more concerned about, well, this is not to say, this is not to speak negatively of any employer here, but we're more conscious about results. Things need to happen really, really fast. And then so when employees begin to work for foreign employers, so to think that what gives them an edge is the ability to get things out fast without necessarily paying attention to the process or
Quality.
how, yeah, the quality of work, so there's always that. And then when they're asked to go back, it's a hit. Oh, but I'm doing great. I'm hitting the timelines, I'm hitting the deadlines. Why do you have a problem with me? But the problem is with the process. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Jane. Thanks about that. And I think I just want to just buttress a bit more about the cultural difference in terms of how the work pace, right? Here, it's about, does it work? Push it out. Most foreign companies care about quality. How good is it? It's not just about pushing it out quickly. And so a senior becomes a senior in Nigeria because I'm able to make things that work fast. Meanwhile, here is a person who has understood process and is able to make things work well. And so when you bring a senior from here, there needs to be an onboarding process. And Jane, this is what I want you to close up with before we watch watch the video. How important is onboarding in the mix when you now have found the talent, you brought the person in? How important is onboarding, and how can an organization put together a solid onboarding process that allows them ensure they get the maximum value out of the talent that they've recruited?
First off is, what's your goal for the onboarding? So there could be two goals. You could have, on one side, an employer who onboards to take up the headache, from his shoulders. Hey, you're here finally, just get the job done. That's an onboarding in itself. And then there's an onboarding that seeks to create a nice fuse between employee and organization, have the employee imbibe the DNA of the organization, how we do things, our process, how we think, so that I don't have to look over your shoulders all the time. So one takes deliberateness. So and that's the part I will go for. So onboarding should be very deliberate. The employee should know that you are expecting him. The employee should know that, hey, we know you've got the skills, but you've got to learn the way we do things. It's fine to bring your ideas, but here you're here because we want continuity. So take some time, learn the way we're doing things, so that it's hard to differentiate from the Nigerian talent and the foreign talent.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jane. So basically, an onboarding process should look at fusing in a way that there is seamless flow between the new talent and the people that already work in your organization. Thank you so much. With this, we will come to the pitch session, where we would be launching some pitches from some really interesting tech talents in Nigeria. So media, over to you.
Hello, my name is Genevieve Oswaji. I'm a full-stack web developer, and I have a BSc and an MSc in computer science and over 10 years experience in the software development industry. I am proficient in PHP and Python. I've worked with MySQL, Postgres, and MongoDB databases. I have worked with frameworks like Yi, Laravel, Django, CodeIgniter. I also have experience working with scripting frameworks, scripting languages like JavaScript, Ajax, jQuery, and also JavaScript frameworks like React, Node.js. I've also used testing frameworks like Mocha, Jasmine, Codeception for testing. I designed and built a student and school management system that is currently in use in over 7 tertiary institutions in Nigeria. I also currently manage a monitoring and reporting system that is in use by the 55 African member states. My attention to detail and my never give up attitude. I'm a go-getter, I'm result-oriented, I'm a great communicator, and I'm a great team leader and player. Thank you. My
name is Chikuka Anoruka. I'm a full-stack developer
that specializes in cloud-native distributed systems. Over the course of my career, I've developed capacity with a lot of programming languages, mostly based on demand. But my core skills right now revolve around work with JavaScript and Node.js on the back end, and Golang as well on the back end. I do have capacity with PHP and .NET and Ruby, but my core skills at the moment is solutions delivery to Node.js and Go. I've been offering my services to international organizations for 6 years now. I've worked from mom and pop companies to massive multinationals like Goldman Sachs. The project I'm most proud of is the role I played in getting Australia broadband away from just leveraging Salesforce into having a dedicated system for handling subscriptions and fulfillment. At the end of the day, what we managed to do was take their systems from monthly payments to Salesforce to the tune of $7,000 to monthly expenditure of $1,900. I've come to a point where the previous question about what my core skill is seems moot right now, because I pride myself with being able to go from bringing up myself with new technologies as quickly as possible. And I know nothing about this on Friday, but I'll let you know everything about it on Sunday, guy. And as a result of that, clients are very comfortable with their ability to try out leveraging brand new bleeding edge technologies when they work with me. I do not shy away from a challenge, and I am able to jump straight into the documentation, as good about it as it could be, and failing that, jump straight into the source code to get a deep understanding of what the tech actually allows me to do.
My name is Unioncamere. I am a software developer. I have about 11 years experience in software development, and within these 11 years I've worked in multiple roles. As a back-end engineer, a full-stack developer, I've managed teams of small and relatively large teams. I have DevOps experience, system architecture, system design experience. I've worked in multiple teams across multiple time zones. So that is me. I have about 11 years experience working with PHP in production, and similar with JavaScript. I've done Python, have experience with Python, Ruby on Rails, and the last 5 years I've majorly been working with Elixir and within the Elixir ecosystem using Elixir, LiveView, and that's Phoenix, then also a little bit of Erlang itself. So that's basically my skill set. On the other hand, I also have experience with system design, system architecture. I have some experience with DevOps, and the last 4 years I've majorly been working with international organizations. So currently I'm consulting for a company called Get Through. It's a US company that is into text and voice calling for elections. I'm also, in the past, I've worked with other companies in the US like Apprent, also in some other company in Germany like Shaw, and then when it comes to project, I'm really happy. Lately, okay, this would have been like way back in 2017. That was the first time I did 2015 specifically. That was the first time I did a project with Elixir in production, and it was like one of the most exciting projects for me, because that project ended up, it was a recruitment portal for the government, for Ministry of Interior, and it ended up handling about up to close to 500 million requests in 7 days, which was like the highest standard for me as at that time, and I was really excited. Yeah. What makes me special is the fact that I've been able to build good experience in the industry, and I'm also very eager to learn new things. What it means is that I can easily adapt to new environments, new situations, learn new technologies to be able to deliver on the things I'm asked to do, and without giving excuses. So that's what I feel makes me special. That's my superpower.
My name is Omotayo Ishola. I am a full stack software engineer, My expertise is primarily in the JavaScript stack. That's Node.js on the back end, React and React Native on the front end. For skills, generally, I have a broad understanding of the entire software development life cycle, starting from system architecture to hands-on building and testing of solutions, and a little bit of automated deployment practices using Ansible and Terraform, and cloud expertise. For languages, I write JavaScript, Node.js, and Golang on the back end. For the front end, primarily React and React Native, and of course JavaScript. One of the projects that I'm proud of is the StorePad platform, which is a micro-task platform built specifically for operators of e-commerce stores. Also, a follow-up to that project was a business valuation tool for the same company. Basically allowed small business owners to list their businesses in a valuation directory. It had a little bit of machine learning to be able to calculate the valuation of businesses based on various metrics. Another one is basically a pensions management system for a company in Kenya called Minet. Uh, so it was a full stack project also. The back end was written in ASP.NET, and the web parts and the mobile was written in React Native and React. Another project is one for the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. It was a crowdsourced platform that allows users to be able to report incidents of power outages in their region and get follow-up as to when the resolution of those outages would happen. I believe what makes me stand out is the fact that I believe strongly in fitness of purpose. That means that technology must align with the intended tool for development. So it's helped me a lot to gain a lot of broad experience across the spectrum, both in the back end, front end, and the infrastructure. Because to actually be very effective in building solutions, it's great that you understand the strengths and shortcomings of whatever proposition you are bringing to the table, and follow up accordingly. So I'm not a stickler for a particular project, a particular tool or framework, but I believe they are all useful and they are all great for the projects or the type of solutions that they solve best.
Hi, my name is Odumosu Tolulokwe. I'm a core backend developer with 5 years experience developing EdTech enterprise solution. I'm a critical and thorough backend developer. I'm also an experienced analytical problem solver with solutions still in production to show for it. Also, I'm a great communicator. I'm experienced using the PHP MySQL stack, also using frameworks such as Laravel and E2 framework. I also make use of JavaScript and the Node.js runtime environment and MongoDB. Also, I took a course of recent on C#.NET 5. Some of my achievements include admission portal for a college of education in Nigeria, also a permit vetting portal for one of the state governments in Nigeria. It doesn't just stop at where I work. I also once in a while try to pair with other intelligent and versed software developers. Of recent, I did a user permission module or a market or a microservice with one of my friends or a pair, which is on my GitHub. With my vast experience working with intelligent team members, the problems and solutions I've been able to encounter and successfully solve makes me a special candidate. My yearning for quality to develop the best solution to help people in their day-to-day activities makes my profile one to watch out for. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So we've assembled quite an interesting list of talent, and they're all on the call. So we're very, very happy to take your questions if you have any for the people on the call. And just to, I feel like the video sort of alluded to some of the things that I and Jane had already mentioned in the past, talking about the broad stack of the people who basically you would potentially be recruiting from Nigeria. And so if you have any questions, please endeavor to use the question a button and we would take those questions. So yeah, so thank you all beautiful and handsome people for first of all sending in the pitch, and then now we'll just basically do a deep dive and have a conversation around your experiences. So maybe we'll start with just everybody doing this. Obviously, we'll start with the ladies. And Genevieve looks really beautiful today. So maybe you tell us about the love you have for software development and engineering, and just maybe take turns and tell us about what you think.
Thank you very much, Mimshak. My love for software engineering, software development stems from the fact that there are no limits to what I can dream. We go to school, we learn things, but we are not pre-configured to speak or even think in a particular way. I love the fact that in software development, you can think outside the box and you would not be termed crazy.
Awesome. Can we go over to Tolulope?
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so what I love the most about software, it gives me the wings to fly, I think, in general, or in short form. I can do whatever, not whatever in particular, but there's this feeling that comes with you building something and then you seeing it in production. I don't know, it makes you feel on top of the world. I don't know if others can agree with me on that, actually.
I'm not a developer, but I agree with you.
That's fine.
All right, Imo, over to you.
Yeah, for me, software has always been something I loved from the very first day I understood what it was. And by the way, I have a background in electrical electronics. So while I was in school, we did this course in C++. Then it was programming microcontrollers, and that was the very first time I had to talk about programming and what to do and all of that. And going through the process, I really liked it, and I was like, okay, so I can actually learn to build stuff. Well, we don't have hardware to be playing with, rather I can be building, software solutions. And from that point, I started learning, building, taking courses and all of that. So it gives me that sort of freedom to think, to do whatever I want to do. Having done that for a while now, it still doesn't fail because you're still going to have that joy looking at the way users are interacting with your solution, and how well you're impacting in their lives and also the organizations you work for. So it's actually it actually gives us it just needs, you need your laptop only, like your laptop and internet. It's like the lowest you can get to be able to do something really creative and touch a lot of lives, right? So that's what I think about it, and I feel that it was a good choice I made to switch from actually doing electrical to doing software development, and I'm glad about that.
Awesome, thanks, Imo. It just from everything Genevieve and Tolulope and Imo have said about freedom, it seems like everyone who writes code is a rebel. All right, so one person I know that is not so much of a rebel is Tayo. So Tayo, tell us why are you doing this?
Okay, yeah, well, for me, it's all about the curiosity. You have the ability to fixate on a problem and stay on it to solve it. And, that gives you this kind of satisfaction that it helps you think like there's no problem that you can solve. And that in itself is a lot of plus to being a software developer.
Awesome. Thanks, thanks, Tayo. And Chuka, over to you.
What I love about software engineering development in general is the level playing field from a career point of view. So the one thing about when I look around life in general is that you notice people like Lewis Hamilton and like Tiger Woods, and you see them dominating their sports and their disciplines. and you realize there aren't many Lewis Hamiltons out there. Not because there aren't enough Black people that can do what Lewis Hamilton does, but because Lewis Hamilton is one of the few Black people that got the opportunity. Now, going back to software engineering, the one thing I always loved about it was the fact that all you really needed to make your name in the industry or to make a real mark was a laptop and a dream. And that always fired me up every day to get out there and to learn a new bit of tech, or to get myself to a place where I felt like if I walked into a room with other technical hands, that I wouldn't feel out of place. And that continues to drive me to this very day. And that's why I love software development as a career.
Awesome, thanks, Chuka. Like, I feel like I should make a T-shirt, just a laptop and a dream, and that's all I need, right? So, audience, remember you could ask your questions. I'll be expecting your questions, but while we wait for that, Chuka and Omo, both of you have worked extensively on international projects. I want you to talk about a bit about what your experience has been like working with foreign organizations, and how that's been, and sort of maybe do a comparison between that and working in Nigeria, but also sort of what you like best about your international project. So maybe Umar will start and then come back to Chuka.
So it's actually black and white when it comes to the differences, right? So except you're working with maybe a startup organization, out of Nigeria that is still struggling with maybe funding, and they don't have enough resources to be able to push you to do things the way it's supposed to be done. But in general, working and consulting for international organizations, there's only one thing that stands out, which is in most cases the drive to have something work, not just work, but done properly, well tested, and with continuity in mind, right? So from my own point, I come from a place where we had a month or less than a month to build a solution, and we're going to put in as much hours as possible to be able to build these things out. And you're not going to be able to write unit tests, you're not going to do integration testing, you're not going to even do proper QA on this thing before you push it out. So, but this is not the reality when you work with, established organizations, people that understand the process, and also, enforce those steps in order for them to be sure they have a well done project or product that they can push their customers. Because in reality, a company is as valued as to the product and quality of the service they provide to their customers, right? So that alone really stands out, and I think that is like the most mark you have in terms of the differences between local employees or local clients and international clients, right? So they understand the fact that using a day to do scoping and understanding the project is not a waste of time, right? Sitting down to refine tickets, making sure that all the acceptance criteria are clearly set, it's not a waste of time, right? Sitting down to write unit testing, sitting down to write integration testing, having a QA engineer coming to QA the final solution. It's not time wastage, it's not money wastage, it's actually value for the product at the end of the day. And that's what makes the difference for me.
Thanks, Mo. Chuka, how has been your experience working for international organizations and companies?
The good thing about working with companies from all around the world is that you very quickly start to realize that the dividing line isn't necessarily local or international. It's about stakes. It's about just how valued the product you're working on is by the product owner. What Imo alluded to, the commitment to establishing that you have a robust implementation or whatever it is you're doing is something that you don't see when you're working on really tight budgeted projects.
Yeah.
And when you finally get yourself into this teams that like have entire budgets kept out for like product design, product development, refactors and change management, documentation, and the final thing being technical improvements as a part of this the process. You start to realize that maybe we shouldn't be making movies in 2 weeks. Maybe we should be making them in 3 months. Like taking the analogy from Nigerian movie industry to this. And you kind of realize that, again, this is not necessarily a local versus international thing, because like you said beforehand, we have unicorns popping up in the country, and they do commit to a lot of process effectiveness. And it's just that you end up realizing that when you work in a team, you meet whoever it is that's leading your team, and the structure kind of is representative of that person is, who that person is as an individual. And that kind of feeds into your own knowledge. So like osmosis, you join a team, you work with them, you pick up a bunch of process ideologies, and also of process development capacity, right? And from my point of view, since I have worked with so many teams and moved from place to place, I've had the opportunity to compare and contrast them. In some places, some people are really strict in how they approach things, and that has its pros and its cons. And in other places, it's pretty blasé, and you just get to live with a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Chuka, for those. So unfortunately, we are out of time, but you can always you can reach out to all the people on the panel on the platform. They're very happy to talk to you, or you can reach out to Jane, and Jane can make a connection with any of the people on the panel. So thank you again so much for joining us, for staying tuned, and for your interest in Nigeria. And we're very, very excited to work with you. We're hoping that this would help give you enough information to make a decision to get some talent and recruit from Nigeria. Thank you again, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye.